We were wondering if we could have an update on our ascension process. Where are we at in this phase right now? A lot has happened recently.
I think it's gonna get worse this year. Next year, there'll be big changes.
So are you saying for the remainder of 2021 it's gonna get worse into 2022?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
People are gonna get more mad at each other. Short tempers. Arguing.
And what are people getting so angry about?
What they believe is true. And others don't share their opinion.
Okay. Now the people that are getting mad, who are they exactly? You mentioned before you brought in people that were those who are climbing the ladder towards ascension and those that are not. Which are you referring to that are getting so upset?
The people that they're like zombies. They just believe what they're told and they think that people that don't share their opinion are enemies.
Okay. So then the people that have bought into the dark agenda?
It just feels safe for them, that's all. It just feels like right to go with what they're being told.
Okay.
They're not mean people. They don't want to do harm, but they're like zombies. It just feels safe to go with the flow.
Okay. So this create a deepening of the separation that we talked about before?
Yes.
And
I don't think Biden is going to last long, health-wise. They can't cover it up anymore. I don't know when.
So are you referring to his dementia or just overall health?
I think overall, They tell him what to say, but soon he's not going to be able to say what they're saying. He's not going to be able to keep it together. And they're going to be forced to change that situation.
So who is telling Biden what to say?
Everyone. The government. He just does what he's told.
Right. So he's not really running the country or the show, so to speak?
No. No.
Okay. So then things are going to continue to escalate with the vaccines being mandatory and people are going to be picking sides even more?
Yeah. It's going to get a little crazy. I just think there's more divide coming.
Okay. What about all these people that are being forced to lose their jobs or being fired from their jobs because they don't want to take these vaccines? Are they going to be, what's going to happen with them?
It's not going to be easy for them. They're not going to find other jobs easily. But it's going to be a rough road for them. But they're going to stick to it.
So is their decision a good one to not take the vaccine?
Yes. The vaccine makes you like a robot.
Vaccine makes you like a robot.
Yeah.
And how does that work?
I see like everybody acting the same, doing the same, doing what they're told, not thinking for themselves. A robot society.
So then there's something in the vaccine that basically takes away your free will and your ability to critically think and take in information.
And you see that now. It's happening already.
Yes.
People that have the vaccine are getting more and more aggressive. And they all think the same. And how can you have people that don't know each other across the country saying the same things? They don't talk to each other. But the verbiage is the same because they all have the same thing inside them. People that don't have the vaccine are going to be kind of like living in the outskirts. Not living in cities. Finding people in the outskirts like them. They are going to be a smaller amount of people than the vaccinated.
So is it safe to say that the people that are vaccinated are the ones that have chosen not to ascend? Or are there people that are vaccinated that will still be able to, that had made the choice on a soul level to ascend and be a part of this shift to the higher dimension, the new earth?
I see a very small amount of vaccinated.
Okay.
The majority, I don't think will.
So there is hope for some of those that were vaccinated that were coerced into it?
Yes.
Now, is there a significant difference between, I know a lot of people that, and there's a fair amount of people that got the initial vaccination, but they're not going to take the booster shots. Are they the ones that are going to have a better chance of fighting through whatever the vaccine is and still be able to ascend?
The booster shot, I don't... Booster shot. I don't see the booster shot doing any more harm than the original shot.
Would a person be better off not taking the booster shot?
I don't think it matters.
Okay.
I think it's all the same, and they will fight through it in the end, whether they got one shot or three. It's their will, and I don't think it matters.
Okay. Okay, good. Now things are obviously headed toward, like you said, it's going to be more difficult, but also between the mandates to get vaccinated and people being forced out of their jobs because they don't want to take the vaccine. But also, it seems like the control systems could very well be crashing relatively soon. Can you offer any insight on that?
Well, Biden isn't going to be in the position for very long, and that will start a big change. They're trying to hide him right now as much as they can, and prep him when he has to address the country. The country is going to see there's no leadership, and it's going to be a little bit mayhem. Like, who's driving the car? No one's gonna know.
So then who would be the figurehead if Biden, falls too ill to even make any kind of appearances? How's this transition gonna work?
Harris will try at first, but she doesn't want to, and she's not going to be good at it. It's going to be a big upset.
So then, once everybody sees that this is clearly just a train wreck, and Harris can't fill a position, what happens then is that a lot of people are probably hoping that because of the election fraud that Trump could possibly reassume power. Is that in the works at all or not?
I see a re-election, like another election.
And is that the result of the original election being proved fraudulent?
No, that is because of the administration crumbling. I don't know who wins, but there will need to be one because it's gonna crumble. And the country is gonna get dragged through the mud. It's gonna be a shit show.
It almost seems like we're racing toward that type of a conclusion. Are we talking something that's going to happen sometime in 2022, which you just spoke of with the re-election?
It's a process, starting with Biden not being able to fake it anymore. Then Harris trying and just not being able to do it and not wanting to do it, and the country really not liking it. And then that's when a change will happen, and I don't know when. I don't know the
timeline?
I don't know the timeline.
Okay. So what else, other than that, I mean, does our economy continue to kind of tank like it's kind of doing now, or things are kind
Yeah, it's bad. So much money just thrown out the window, and no accountability. It's bad, like recession bad. It's gonna be rough. But it has to happen, and it's in the future. We'll all get through it. We will all get through it like we have done. But it's going to be rough.
So, looking at this in a spiritual perspective, what do you see as far as, is this part of the grand plan to wake people up and move towards our ascension? How does this help as far as waking people up and moving towards the new earth in the great shift?
I think because it's gonna get so bad in so many ways that's when people open their eyes and do research, and they're, I don't want to say forced, but they're pushed to see the other side of things. So I think the country getting bad in all these ways is helping people be gently pushed to see the plan. So it's a good thing.
So how difficult will it get? Other than it's going to be difficult financially and people making a living and surviving, are we looking at, for a short time, a certain amount of riots or civil unrest?
I think they'll be protesting when the people realize that their government is falling. There's always going to be those people that love negative, dark, love hurting people, and they're going to jump on the bandwagon.
Right.
But I think the majority of people just want to see a change and may protest for a change, but those people won't instill violence. But there will be people that want to do it just because they like to be negative and dark and hurtful. They use it as an excuse.
Okay. So even though this will separate a lot of people, but will it also bring a lot of people together?
In the end, yes. And just talking with people gently to see where they're coming from. And if you see they're like you, those are the people you need to surround yourself with.
Right. Okay. Wonderful. So we got our last session. You mentioned something about like we were halfway up the ladder towards our ascension. Have we moved up at all, or are we still kind of halfway up that ladder?
We're still about halfway. There's a lot that has to happen. It's in the motion. The gears are turning. But we're on the right track. We're doing what we're supposed to do. But there's things that we can't control time-wise that have to happen before we can progress.
It seems like things are definitely ramping up, especially in the last few months. Is that going to continue as far as just the expediency? I mean, things are really starting to move fast.
It's going to get bad the last few months of the year. I think February maybe something may shift.
Our last session too, you mentioned in September, which we just passed in 2021, was going to be a major shift. What happened this September that just passed that was a major shift? What was the big shift?
Well, moving. Jill moving out of her work. Settling into a peaceful nature surrounding.
Okay, so this is more on a personal level is what you meant.
Yes.
Okay. So what more can you tell us about us moving into the new earth and this great shift? Is there anything else that you can elaborate on? Are we still looking at quite a few years? Or, I mean, I know that time is difficult because it doesn't work that way because things have to fall into place and time is kind of irrelevant, but just so we can wrap our heads around something, are we still looking at...
I don't know when, but it feels like a few years.
Okay.
It doesn't seem around the corner. So much has to happen on this planet, and it's happening. But I can't see when the shift happens.
Right. What about our beautiful planet, our Gaia? How is she doing, holding up with under so much she's had to endure?
It looks to me like when you burn your skin and you have a scar of rough skin and then the rest of your skin is good, it looks like there's spots that are rough and burnt, and then there's spots of her that are healthy and happy and green, and it feels good. I think eventually the burnt spots can heal. I think it just takes time.
Okay. So on the spiritual perspective, in order for this shift to happen, and for the most part, are we predominantly waiting to get as many people awakened?
I think so. I think that's what this is all about. A lot of people have woken up, but they need more negativity and gloom to push to open their eyes. So we've come a long way, but we need to go further.
Right. So ultimately, the third dimensional programs that we've been all indoctrinated with our whole lives, there's a lot of people here that are so deep into the program that it's really going to take a lot to shake them out of it.
Yeah, they have to feel almost hopeless to seek it out.
Okay. All right, well, thank you. Is there anything else you want to add to our ascension or the new earth or anything on this topic?
You're doing exactly what you should be doing, and you're in the place you need to be.
Is that for humanity, or are you talking on a personal level?
On a personal level.
Okay. Wonderful. Is it true that the new earth is just kind of waiting for us? Like, the dimension is just kind of waiting for us to cross over into it?
The new, I don't know the answer to that. It seems that what you're saying, the new earth, looks like this earth, but brighter with more flowers and vibrant.
Right.
I don't know if it's another earth or this earth.
It's a different dimension or frequency, or both actually. Is that correct?
It just seems so familiar, just brighter and healthier.
Is it true that a lot of us kind of teeter in and out of that dimension? From say like around the 4th to the 5th dimension?
The only time you do that is in your sleep.
Oh, okay.
It's not, this planet is too negative to be able to experience that on a conscious level.
Right. So what is it that actually, when the time comes and there's enough of us that are awake and we're at the point where we can make the shift, what will that be like? What will happen to where we'll shift into that higher dimension? higher sense of consciousness, and we'll step away from the third dimensional consciousness.
I don't know how it's going to happen, but to me, the only thing I can compare it to is living in the country on a farm with tons of beautiful plants and trees and animals and vibrant colors, and everybody's happy, and then never wanting to go into the city because it's dark and gray and dirty, and you can see it, but you never want to go back there. I don't know how we transition there.
Okay. Yeah, you mentioned before that basically when we make this transition that we can see like the overlook in a sense for the third dimension, but we don't want anything to do with it.
No, you never want to go there again.
Right. When we make the shift, there won't be nearly as many people that will be in the fifth dimension.
There's going to be less people.
Okay. Another question too would be, there's a lot of, you hear about all these very powerful energies that are coming to the planet, and I've heard many times that it's basically to upgrade us, upgrade our DNA, our bodies, and because we're taking the physical vessel with us when we shift. Can you give us a little bit of that insight on that? Is that true? What we've been hearing about?
I feel like there's I just heard petri dish. I feel like we're somewhat of an experiment, and there's beings outside looking in on what we're doing and trying to see what we do, but also help a little so we don't destroy everything. So they're trying to let it play out, but sometimes they have to intervene.
So you're saying that we are somewhat a petri dish?
Yeah, we are. We're kind of just
an experiment.
Yeah.
So is this to see how much we can handle and how we deal with it? The negative? Or the situations that are thrown at us?
I don't know why it is this way. That like they want us to keep going. They want us to just see how long we can survive. But they don't want us to decimate ourselves. So when we get to that point, they're step in, say, no. This experiment has to keep going.
So basically when it reaches this experiment reaches its end, its somewhat conclusion, is that's when the shift will happen.
I don't know what their end is.
As far as the negativity, the third dimensional consciousness of service to self versus service to others.
I think that there's a few groups out there that are what's the word? Aiding in this experiment. There's not just one, and some groups want to continue it and like the negativity, and others do not and want it to be peaceful. So I think there's somewhat of a disagreement up there. And I think that's why we still have negative on this planet. So maybe that's why we don't know when the end shift is, because they're battling.
So this kind of goes back to the whole thought form of that this planet was seeded through several different off-world groups. And
yeah, it's like they started this and then they had one in the beginning, one plan, and then that shifted, and it's a lot of turmoil, and no one knows when the end is because no one can agree.
Yeah, the interesting thing about all this is that supposedly the human being was far more advanced initially. There was a lot more, several, like at least 12 to 24 DNA strands. We were highly intelligent and had all these abilities. And then through time and manipulation, we've been dumbed down.
Well, you can't be at the top, because that would mess up the progression of the earth. So you can't have someone that's super smart, knows it all, can change the world, because that's not the plan, that the time frame, right? So you can evolve, but at the time frame they want you to.
Oh, I also heard that we were supposed to evolve quite a long time ago, and we've been...
Well, we have been, and they want us to have technology that we have, but we can't use. So they've given us, they want us actually to be further now, but we're not allowed to. So
you're saying when you say they want us to be further along, but then we're not allowed to. So is this the two different groups that are basically...
No. This is the government. These are the governments of this planet. The extraterrestrials gave us little almost drop pins of information,
Right.
which we have, but it's a control thing.
Right.
And so everything's turmoil. It's turmoil in the extraterrestrial. It's turmoil on the planet, governments down to people. It's just nobody gets along, nobody agrees. It's a mess. It's a mess.
Okay. That's ultimately because of where the consciousness is at as far as service to self and wanting all the power for themselves.
It's the extraterrestrials wanting us to evolve this planet, right? They want us to be at a certain place. But the country does not. The citizens of the country, for the most part, not all, do what they're told. It's like this progression of Earth can't move forward because there's too many cooks in the kitchen.
Right.
And so it's taking longer.
Right.
And I think that the extraterrestrials are getting frustrated. But it's just a mess. I don't know.
So we've been kind of running to stand still as far as our evolution is concerned for quite a fair amount of time. But that being said,
well, we've done well. We've moved forward. We've accomplished a lot.
but isn't it true that a lot of our technologies that we're using today is pretty archaic?
Oh yes, and they've already given us what we need. They don't want to be too involved. That's not the point of this. So they're trying to figure out how to get to us. Not get to us, like
in a way that we can move forward?
Yeah, without having too much involvement.
Right, so they want us to do it on our own.
But we're being stuck because of our rulers.
Right.
So it's...
So that being said, is that the reason why we're going through this right now with like these mandates and all these restrictions and these lockdowns in order for the extraterrestrials, the benevolent extraterrestrials to get to us and get us to wake up and rise up?
No, I don't think it's them. I think it's the government trying to control us.
Okay.
And it's a control thing. It's not an extraterrestrial thing. They don't agree with this.
Okay. But by the dark, in a sense, the negatives doing this, aren't they kind of somewhat shooting themselves in the foot because people are waking up and they are standing up for themselves?
They don't think that, though. They don't know how many people are waking up. They think they're in the driver's seat.
Right.
And the more that they think it's working, the more they're going to continue.
Okay.
It's almost like they have no idea what they're doing. They don't. In the end, they're going to be very surprised how many people open their eyes during this.
Right. Well, all their tactics are so blatant, so obvious. Now, on a higher perspective, then, how do you see? Do you see? As far as the whole, not just the United States, but the whole world, is the whole world really waking up? Are they really being challenged to wake up against this tyranny?
Yeah, I think it's similar other countries, yes. There's, for sure.
So then, what would you say that would be positive that we can take away from what's going on right now with these mandates and lockdowns and restrictions?
People are getting upset, and they're going to open their eyes, and they're going to think for themselves, and they're going to do some research and all their time off from not working. And they're going to realize what's going on. Not everyone, because some people like to wear it like a badge, like they are the good citizens, and they want a good citizen's badge. But secretly in homes, people are opening their eyes.
Okay. So this is ultimately working in the favor of the light.
Yes.
Okay. So, what is the overall objective as far as human evolution is concerned, and what we're going through with in this lower density in this dimension? What is the overall goal as far as evolution, as far as the game is concerned? Because I know, we mentioned that this planet has been seeded, and there's lots of different groups that are involved with what's going on here, whether it's for the light.
I don't know what the end plan is, why they did this, but
because my understanding has always been the test here was how deep can you go into the darkness and then climb your way out into the light and find your way back to source. Is there any
I
truth to
don't
that?
think it was supposed to get this dark, no.
Okay.
No, when this started, everyone was on the same page. And then a group turned. It wasn't supposed to be like this.
Okay.
Now those groups are fighting amongst themselves. They both still have some control. And that's why we're being pulled from both directions.
Right.
But when it started, everyone was on the same page.
Okay. But is it also true that Earth is one of the best places that you could go to learn to learn incredible amount of lessons and advance as a soul, a faster advancement?
I don't know about that. I think that
I just been seeing that this is a pretty tough assignment for any soul that chooses to incarnate here.
When I look at other planets, the beings on them, people, whatever you want to call them, are way more advanced than we are here. This is an experiment. This is hard. This is learn as you go. Other planets seem very status quo. Like, maybe boring. Everything is the way it's supposed to be. Not a lot of emotion. No drama. Very robotic, this planet. Chaos. But highs and lows and emotion and excitement and sadness. It's full spectrum.